So from the data given below, find two regression coefficients, two regression equations, and coefficient of correlation between the marks in statistics and mathematics, and most likely the marks in mathematics when marks in statistics are 30. Now, first of all, say me what are the two regression coefficients? Who can answer this quickly? Very good, Akila. So B xy and byx are the two regression coefficients. Okay, and then what are regression equations? Name the two regression equations. Good. Any others want to answer? X on y and y on x. So this is the next one. These are the two regression equations. Then we have to find correlation coefficient. What is the denotion? How do we denote correlation coefficient? How do we denote? R, small r. Okay, this is correlation coefficient. So we have to find all of these from this given data, and most likely marks in mathematics when the statistics are 30. So we are assuming statistics marks to be X and mathematics marks to be Y. Okay, and then we will find out the maths marks. We are going to find out Y when X is given, that is X is equal to 30. Okay, now let us go to the problem directly. Now here, to decide between actual mean and assumed mean, we have to find the x bar value. Now when you find the x bar value, that is sigma x by n, that is add all the x values, 320 is the total, divide by n is 10, you get 32, which is a whole number. Okay, it is not a fraction or a decimal, so it's a whole number. Even for y bar, it is a whole number. Therefore, we will be using actual mean to solve this problem. Now, when you are using actual mean, you have to find the deviations from the actual mean only. And similarly, for the y also, deviations from the actual mean. So you have x and the total of x is 320. You have y, the total of y is 380. So we found out x bar and y bar. Now moving further, we have the deviations, that is x and small y. So how do we find the deviations? X minus x bar, that is 32, which is 25 minus 32 is minus 7, 28 minus 32 is minus 4, 35 minus 32 is 3, 32 minus 32 is 0, and so on. We will be finding the deviations. Similarly for y minus y bar is 38. Okay, so 43 minus 38 is 5, 46 minus 38 is 8, 49 minus 38 is 11. Okay, and 41 minus 38 is 3. Like this, we'll be finding the deviations of y. Now, once we find the deviations, the next important thing to calculate is x square. This is small x square. So we are supposed to square all these numbers. Now, when you square all these numbers, that is 7 square is 49, minus 7 square, minus 4 square is 16, 3 square is 9, 0 square is 0, minus 1 square is plus 1. And then 4 square is 16, minus 3 square is 9, 6 square 36, 2 square 4, and 0 square is 0. So if you have to square all these numbers and you get x square. In the same way, you have to square all the y values and you get y square. And the final value which you have to calculate is the x into y. Okay, x into y. If you multiply these two, x and y, then you get xy here, and here you will get minus values, so be a little careful. Fine. So once we have got all of these values, now let us find the coefficients of the regression. Now for regression coefficients, we also know, see, there are many ways to find regression coefficients. Now how do we know which to use? Based on the data available. Now if you see here, the data which is available to you is this sigma x square, y square, xy, and y square and y, right? So based on the data, we can analyze that the formula for the regression coefficient will be sigma xy by x square, sigma x square for byx, and sigma xy by sigma y square for bxy. Okay, so this is the formula we will be using. Now if you take for sigma byx, sigma xy by x square. So sigma xy is minus 93 and sigma x square is 140. So what is the first coefficient we get? The first coefficient we get is minus 0.6643. Okay, and then if you go for bxy, we get sigma xy is minus 93 divided by y square is 398. So the second coefficient, that is bxy, is 0.2337. Again you have minus because 93 has minus in both of the cases. Okay, so the two regression coefficients byx and bxy we found out. Did you all understand? Any doubts in the first part, that is the regression equation? Understood? Okay, so here if you see, we solved the two regression coefficients, the two regression equations. So in the two regression coefficients, we found out byx and bxy. In two regression equations, we found out x on y by taking the value of a y bar, bxy and x bar, which we have already calculated. And for xy, sorry, this is yx. Okay, we again used x bar, bxy and y bar to calculate the equations, that is the regression equation. Now the next one what we have to calculate is the coefficient of correlation. Now recently we understood that by using the coefficients of regression, we can find out the correlation coefficient, correct? So let us do that calculation. Okay, so correlation coefficient or coefficient of correlation is nothing but that is small r is geometric mean of the coefficients of regression or square root of bxy into byx. So here we are supposed to see two conditions. What are the two conditions? The first condition is that if both the numbers are less than 1. So if you go back and check the equation bxy and byx, both the numbers are less than 1, right? Minus 0.66, minus 0.23. So first condition is okay. And what is the second condition? Both has to have same sign. Okay, both has to have same sign. So if you see the numbers again, both have minus sign. So which means we can calculate the correlation coefficient. So we will take the square root of bxy, that is 0.2337 into minus 0.6643. So this will give me square root of, you will actually get plus, but since both the numbers are negative, you will have to maintain this sign. I'm repeating it again. You will not get minus here because minus into minus is plus. Okay, just for the sake of getting the final answer as minus, you are keeping this minus here. So square root of, don't calculate square root of minus 1.15. Okay, or do one thing, make this as plus and write a note here. Okay, write a note here saying, since the numbers are, or coefficients are negative, consider minus sign. Okay, you can give a note like that, and then find the value of square root of 1.11525, you get 0.394. Now for this you have to just put that minus sign before. Okay, did you all understand? This is very crucial in exam. If they will give such problems, and if you just blindly calculate minus square root of minus value, you will get error. You will not be able to get the values. Okay, so be careful. Whenever you get the problem like this, write a note even in exam saying that the coefficients are minus, so the final result is minus. Are you all able to follow? Yes? Any doubt still here? Any part of the problem you want me to solve it again? So will you all remember about this note that I told about? I will anyways write it here and send, but then. Okay. Now if you see, they have also calculated one more time the correlation coefficient like proof. Okay. We are using the original formula of correlation coefficient, that is sigma xy by square root of sigma x square into sigma y square. So here sigma xy from the problem is minus 93, square root of 140 into 398. When you simplify them, you get the same answer, that is minus 0.394. If you see here, here also you have got the same answer. It's just for a proof. There's no compulsion of doing this. For you to be sure that the answer is correct or not, you will solve that. If you want, you can solve. If you don't want, you can leave it. Clear? Now, let us go back to the question. The last D question here. The most likely marks in mathematics when marks of statistics are known. So we know what is X. So we are supposed to find out Y. Now, when we know what is X and we have to find Y, then we are supposed to consider Y on X equation. Okay, so Y on X equation is considered here. So Y is equal to 59.2576 minus 0.6643X. Now, in the place of X, just substitute the value given, that is 30. Now, once you do this, you will be able to get 59.2576 minus multiply, you get 19.929, and then Y is equal to 39.33. So, when the statistics marks is 30, the mathematics marks of the person is going to be 39.33. Okay, so this is the final question and the final answer that we have got. So such questions can be asked for 14 marks. Okay, they have repeatedly asked such questions also. Clear? Understood the whole problem? If you want me to repeat any part of the problem, please let me know. I will repeat it now. Everybody understood? Can we go for the next problem? Okay. Now moving on to the next problem. From the following data, you are required to form two regression equations. Estimate the value of x when y is equal to 10 and value of y when x is equal to 15. Find correlation coefficient through regression coefficients. So all known questions only. First, we have to find out two regression equations. So what are the two regression equations? X on y and y on x we have to find. Then using this, we have to find the value of x and y when the other values are given. And then we have to find correlation coefficient r by finding out or by using the regression coefficients. This is also the most repeated question in the examination. You can get this for 6 or 14 marks sometimes. Sometimes they'll give you more information and more questions and ask for 14 marks. Sometimes it will be asked for 6 marks. Okay. Now let us see the data. Now we have series X and series Y. Now, unlike before data, where they were giving you the numbers, here they have given you the totals. Okay. See, instead of giving these numbers, they have given you these totals. Okay. Now using these totals, we will be finding out the values here in this question. So first, number of pairs of observation. This is nothing but n. Okay. This is nothing but n. So the total observations in both the series are 5. Next, mean. Mean is for series X, it is X bar, and for series Y, it is Y bar. These are the actual means. Then, sum of squares of deviation of X and Y from their respective means. Now, understand how to read this. Deviation of X from their respective means. Deviation of X from X bar means they are talking about small x. Okay, I'll write it here. Small x, nothing but x minus x bar. So the total of small x, x minus x bar. Okay, then deviation of y from their mean means small y is equal to y minus y bar. Okay, so this is first thing. Now, sum of squares. Sum means total of squares of deviations. Squares of deviations. So, which is nothing but sigma x square and sigma y square. Sorry. Sigma x square and sigma y square is given to you. But when you read the sentence, you will find, okay, what is this? I'm not able to understand. So always understand that deviation of x means small x. Square of the deviations means x square. Sum means total. So again, deviations from my y means small y. Square of the deviation means y square. Total of them means sigma. So sigma x square and sigma y square is given to us. And the next part and the last part, sum of the products of deviations of x and y from their respective means. Clearly it says sum of, that is sigma, product of deviations. What are deviations? Small x and small y. Product. So small x multiplied with small y. So sigma xy is nothing but minus 26. If you are able to analyze the data here and write it in this format, then it is very, very easy to solve any problem. Okay, so we have x bar as 6, y bar as 8, n is equal to 5, sigma x square is 40, sigma y square is 20, and sigma xy is minus 26. Okay, any doubts in the question? Any doubts in the question? Any part you want me to repeat? Okay. Moving on is first we have to find the regression equations. Now regression equations is x on y and y on x. So first we'll find out y on x. So y on x, what is the equation? Y minus y bar is equal to byx into x minus x bar. Okay, so this is the equation. We know what is y bar, we know what is y bar, we know what is x bar. To find byx, the coefficient byx, we will be using the formula sigma xy by sigma x square, because we have the data given in the question. So y minus 8, y bar is 8. Okay, for in the place of byx, we have written this formula sigma xy by sigma x square. Okay, then what is sigma xy? Minus 26, and sigma x square is 40. All this is given in the question. You need not break your head so much. You just have to understand how to apply it into the equation. Then x minus x bar is 6. Now start simplifying it. First divide these two. Minus 26 divided by 4 will give you minus 0.65. Then y minus 8 is equal to minus 0.65 into x minus 6. Now minus 0.65, you have to multiply it with x minus 6 and you get minus 0.65x plus 39. Now minus 8 will come on to the other side, so it will become plus 8, and the final equation is y is equal to 11.9 minus 0.65x. So this is the regression equation of y on x. Now when you see the other side, regression equation of x on y, first the equation will be x minus x bar is equal to bxy into y minus y bar. So in the place of bxy, we will write the formula sigma xy by sigma y square. Okay, this is y square. Okay, not x square, y square. So sigma xy by sigma y square. So y minus y bar. So x minus 6 is equal to minus 26 by 20 into y minus 8. Again do the simplification here and your final equation will be 16.4 minus 1.3. Okay, now once we get the equations, this was our first question to find out the regression equation. Now let us go back to the question and check what is the second question. Estimate the value of x when y is equal to 10 and value of y when y is equal to 15. So first one is value of x when y is equal to 10. So value of x when y is equal to 10. Okay, so we have to find the value of x when y is equal to 10. So in the place we have to take this. Okay, we have to take x on y. So in the place of y, substitute 10 and you'll get the value of x, which is 3.4. And on the other case, you have to estimate the value of y when x is 15. So take this equation, y on x. So 11.9 minus 0.65 into x. In the place of x, substitute 15 and simplify, you get the value of y. Okay, so this is the second question. Now, any doubts until here? Any doubts until here? Quickly. Good. Now, moving on to the last question, that is find the correlation coefficient through regression coefficient. So, we know what is Bx and By. So, if you see here, we know what is Byx and Bxy. So, we'll use that. Now, what is Bxy? Yeah, this is Byx and this is Bxy. So, what is Byx? Byx is 0. minus 0.65 and Bxy is minus 1.3. So use both of this and do not forget to check the two conditions. What is the first condition? Both of them should be less than 1. Okay, so here not both of them, but one is less than, no, both of them, right? Minus, right? So minus 0.65 is less than 1, minus 1.3 is also less than 1. So first condition, okay. Second condition is same sign. Both have to have same sign. Both are having minus sign. So you can calculate. So you get the correlation coefficient as minus 0.9192. Okay. So this is how you have to find the correlation coefficient, where you will be writing or solving the problems continuously. Okay, so this completes the regression problems. Any doubts in the regression problems? Any doubt here in this problem particularly? No doubts, everybody understood? Okay. Now, coming to the last part, to just understand how both regression and correlation will have little difference. Okay, let's just go through this part. In problems, you understood what is the difference. Okay, now in theory, we will understand. It studies, first of all, correlation analysis will study the relationship between two or more variable. So in correlation, we will see how X and Y are related. Okay, but in regression, we will see if we change X a little, what is the effect of the change on Y? Okay, that is the main difference in correlation and regression. Here, we will find the relationship. We will find how good, what is the percentage of the relation that they are in. But in regression, if we change X, what is the effect of that on Y? So that is told as dependent variable and independent variable. So what is the change in the dependent variable that will affect the independent variable? Oh, sorry, that is because of independent variable. Now, independent variable is which is not influenced by anyone. Okay, dependent is it will get influenced by every person. Fine. So here we will find the change. Here we'll find the relationship. Then it does not imply that causal relation between the variables. So it is not the normal relationship that we have, like the difference or the relationship between the the sunny day and the rain. Since see, sometimes we all think, right? So it is too sunny today, it might rain, right? All those causal relationship is not valued here. But when it comes to regression, you will be able to study the causal relationship also. Because of too much sun or because of a bright day, how will it become a rainy day in the second half? Okay, next, it studies the mutual dependence of variables. So we will here, since it is studying of relationship, we will consider both x and y in on an equal basis. But in regression, one is a dependent variable, one is an independent. So only one will be depending and it will be struggling, but the other one will just move on in its way. Then correlation has very limited scope. We don't use correlation, in too many branches, but regression, we will use them in very much branches, especially in research oriented papers. Regression is widely used. Then correlation is symmetrical form, which means it is same, x, y, y, x, everything is same in correlation, but in regression, we know that it is not same. X, y and y, x are different. In correlation, variables are equal. In regression, you have two different types, dependent and independent. In correlation, it's a relative measure and regression is an absolute measure. So we will find the degree of, in absolute measure,